guys, welcome to Call Kar.
Yaaar. Call Kar Yaaar, 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 Call Kar Yaaar.
We're two long distance besties. I live in UK, she lives in Dubai, hence long distance. But today's topic is very exciting. And Kushi, for the past 1.5 hours, I've kept something away from you. I was dying to let you know,
Okay.
but I was just like, I would tell you on the podcast. Since I've been like, it's been killing me. It's been like killing me.
What's going on?
So, are you ready? Are you bracing
Yes.
yourself? I know you're on the bed,
Yes.
so you can't fall down. But your bestie has finally graduated from her master's program. My final results came out.
Oh my god! Wait, what? You actually passed fully properly?
Yes, until now, I was just like, am I like my dad's come from a graduation? I don't know if I'm going to
Yeah.
pass. But results came out. I checked when I was talking to mom. So when I was talking to you and I was like updating you about my call with my mom, I was
Yeah.
like, Myri, and then I'm like, no, this is going to go on the
Yeah, you were
podcast.
you were so like sketchy throughout the whole call. I was like, okay, but I thought maybe, she's around people or she's something. I did not expect that your results would come out and this is how I would find out, but I'm so glad.
I was just like, this is a Call Kar Yaaar moment. It can't
Yes.
be missed.
Congratulations. I'm
But
so proud of you.
yes, thank you. All flowers, everything accepted. Please send to Call Kar Yaaar's Instagram, the flower emoji. But no, but that's what I was thinking about. Like such a big news or like such a good news gave me such a big dopamine hit. But I was just like, for the past few days, I've been feeling, and you know this, the past few days and weeks, I've been feeling so low, and I feel like the whole job hunting, being alone in UK, everything all together has taken such a mental toll for me at least. And sometimes I'm like, today I was like, I got up very early and I was like walking around the room and I was just like thinking about, okay, my dad's coming next week. That's exciting. And literally that 10 days are going to be so much fun because first we're going to be going around UK a little bit. But secondly, I can meet like my second family. So if you don't know, like my friends who have gone away, all of them would be coming together for the graduate, hopefully, most of them.
Yes. Yes.
So these things are giving me such good dopamine hits or happiness as a whole. But no, and you have given me some tips about the shitty phase which I was going through. And yes, today's topic is mental health. Would you want to take it forward and like tell your experience prior to like me coming to like current experience?
Firstly, I am so happy that you've given me this news. I'm so happy that you are finally a master student. All your efforts have paid off, and I am proud of you for that. You have given me a dopamine hit, but and I know that the last few weeks haven't been easy. I think the UK's winter is also getting to you because now slowly going out is not as accessible without, especially like at least 4 layers of jackets and everything. And you just I mean, it's the festive season, so I know that you've been feeling a little lonely around without family, but it's one thing that I am grateful for is that this is still something that we are able to speak on a podcast online, that we know that our parents will be watching and we know that our external family will be watching, and it's not something that we can hide or we have to hide. And that is a privilege that not a lot of people, especially South Asians, can have. So firstly, for that I am very grateful. But yes, I think just like you mentioned, we need to be honest about our feelings as well, right? When you're feeling low, you need to be honest about the fact that we've been feeling low. Both of us have not been going through the best of mental health at this point, but
Yeah.
we've been communicative. We've been honest with each other, saying that Ananya, I need help, I need time, I need space, because that's what works for me is time and space. So I've told Ananya, I said, I'll be shunning you out, I'll be isolating you for a little bit. Please don't feel bad. And Ananya has very sportingly taken it. And for Ananya, communication works. So she comes like, blah, 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 blah. I'll be like, yes, let's talk about all of it. It's exciting. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But I think that's what. Being honest about your feelings and understanding what works best when you're feeling low can really help when someone's going through a sad mental health period or a bad mental health period. But I think more than that, it's also just accepting that it's okay to have a bad mental health period. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I feel the thing is, it's such a subjective thing, right? A lot of, like you said, like some people would want to communicate more, but we also know a lot of friends of ours who would like want to just separate themselves and not talk, especially men. They don't like talking about their feelings. So I don't know how they process it. Is it by playing a sport they love, or is it by, I've heard like men get
Gymming.
to gymming. Yes, I've heard like a lot of like men or like boys, they get together and like they have like a time of their own, like all their guy friends, and they're just chilling there and they're like away, switched off D&D from the whole world, and that gives them peace for going, like that is the escape zone, or escape plan, whatever. So it's so different and so subjective. um like what may have worked for you. I know there are like standardized things of like you told me, because came to you saying that, oh, you know what, I'm feeling like this, and it took me a very long time to figure out that I'm feeling like XYZ. I can feel an emotion, but the reason behind that emotion it takes so much time for me to realize why. And a lot of overthink. Yeah. And like, I was like, okay, I don't know, I'm getting up this late, I'm doing this, I don't know this. And you are the one who's like, you know what, make a to do list, stick to it. It makes you feel productive when you're like ticking off things from it. And that's something I've been doing recently. So there are things which work out like that. But if I come and tell you that my escape plan or my escape is dancing, it may not be the same for you.
Agreed.
So it's such a subjective thing, but the fact that we have friends and family who we can speak about it. And I think I have realized the importance or a little bit more about processing my emotions after coming to the UK, where I have so much of like alone time, and at a house it's full chaos. Right, mom is screaming or dad is screaming, my sister is doing something else, it's full chaos. There's it's so much noise. But when you're alone, even if it's a conversation, that conversation keeps on playing on loop on in your head. So like sometimes like we had like not a fallout, like there was some news you gave me, I think last year, and for a week I didn't
Did
speak to
we?
you.
Oh, okay, that. I was like, when did we have a fallout? Why am I finding out
And
that there was a fallout now?
and it was not like a huge news, it was just that, and it's not her fault at all, it was just something that I need time to process. And the fact that even with my family, it's very recently I'm like, you know what, I don't want to talk to you right now, I will call you, don't feel like talking today. I don't know if that's putting them into like a place of concern or like what's going on, but at the same time that processing I'm able to do it when I'm away compared to when I am there, where I don't know, with the closest people your vulnerabilities are more visible.
Yeah. No,
Does that
I
make sense?
think
I don't know.
like you mentioned, uh, everybody is so different, right? So everybody's processing mechanisms are also so different, and that is why everything is so subjective, and people's brains work differently. People have had different kinds of experiences in their childhood. I've even heard that, same parents, different kids. The two kids have not had the same experience growing up. So, same household, same environment, same parents, two different kids, they've also not had the same experience growing up. We're talking about a diversity of people. Obviously, the way you process information and the way I process information, the way you process emotions and the way I process emotions are going to be completely different. And I think when you're talking about mental health and when you're talking about emotions and feelings in general, it's very important to firstly accept that what may be normal for you may not be normal for someone else, and what may not be normal for someone else may not be very normal for you, and that it is not personal at all times, right? Suppose if I have something and I'm going through something and I don't want to share something with somebody, or I just don't want to share something and I go and isolate, it's not personal that I'm not sharing that information with you. It's just I am not comfortable sharing that information. This is personal to me, and this is the way I operate, right? It may not be normal for everybody, but that's okay. As long as people are being treated with respect and as long as people are being treated and understood for their differences as well, we're fine, right? And like you mentioned, routines and all of that can help when you're going through something because it gives you a sense of purpose, it gives you a sense of getting up to do something. That's extremely important. But like you mentioned, I'm glad you're able to have that conversation and that dialogue with your family at the moment as well and with your friends, right? That I need time because if you ghosted without any information, that would cause so much more concern, right? And if you went ahead with a difficult conversation when you were not feeling it, it would have been one of two ways. Either it would have ended in a fight, and a really bad fight at that, or it would have been that you are not yourself in that conversation, right? It can't, none of those ways are good. Like, be yourself 100%, be honest and be open with the people saying, I need my time, I need my space, I need this, I need that. I will come and I will speak to you when I'm ready to. It's not personal, I just need to process. Now that we had the fallout that you mentioned, I remember that the only reason I was so chill with it, and chill with it in the sense, not chill in that, oh, Ananya and I are having a falling out, I'm chill. I was chill because I was like, Ananya has not just ghosted me, right? She's told me, Khushi, I'm gonna not speak to you for a bit. I need to think about this. I need to think about what has just happened, and then I will come and have a conversation with you. And you came and had a conversation with me, and we both resolved it aram se peacefully. I think
But
that. Mm,
mm, no, please continue.
I
Sorry,
think
I'll finish
that
after that.
open and honest dialogue is very important in any relationship to just keep others aware of whatever you are feeling.
But there's a thing, right? Like, I was thinking about it, like when you were talking, I would only communicate with my parents or my family, like my sister, my parents, or my closest of friends. And right now, obviously, I have many close friends, but the only one I speak on a day-to-day basis is you, right? So I don't know if it's right or wrong for me to say this, and I end up like if I'm you've seen my Instagram chats. I don't reply to everyone. I end up ghosting people, especially when I'm going through a scenario like this. It takes a lot of
Social battery.
willpower,
Yeah.
yeah, and social battery for me to message someone, right? So I am a pro ghosting person. Do I make sense? Like, I won't do bothny vibes, but at the same time, maybe this reason why I told you I feel like this is because you're the closest to me and we have day-to-day conversations.
Yeah.
If you want, I
Do we
would
have
have
day
put
to
you
day
on C zone.
conversations or do we have gate conversations or do we have like Kabayal hypermarket conversations? Never mind,
Yeah,
continue.
all supermarkets in like is it supermarkets?
It's
What is
hypermarkets
it
and
called?
departmental
Hypermarket.
stores.
Yeah, departmental stores in Dubai. But no, that's the reason. Even my parents, I know if I didn't send my parents a message saying, "Hey, today I don't want to speak to you," then they would be concerned. And especially when you're continents away, it's going to be difficult for them. And that's the only reason that I would message, right? Or else, if I want to take like a no cushy zone, I wouldn't message you. Like if you want my closest friend, I would have like straight up not ignored you for like 2 3 weeks, and I wouldn't care.
See, I understand that, right? Because
Hmm.
it takes a lot of battery, and I do that. I do that too. Don't worry, you're not the only one. I have like three people on my pinned that I reply to when I see their messages, and everybody else can. There's a possibility of getting ghosted, or there's a possibility of me. I am not someone who can discuss my emotions and my feelings very openly, as in that moment at least. I need time to go back to the drawing board, process everything that's happened, be like, this was this, this was this, this was this, and then be able to even share that I was going through something. The fact that I said it at the beginning of the episode that I was going through something is because at the moment I am at a more neutral place, right? Because I don't want to come to conclusions by just opening up, and when you start opening up, you're, to me, you're just like putting all the puzzle pieces and then laying them on the table waiting for somebody else to solve it for you. At least that's what I tend to do. So I don't like doing that. I like solving it here first and then figuring it out with, or then sharing it with you and then revealing the puzzle. But which is why I understand the ghosting, right? But even like suppose in a falling out situation, right? Like you mentioned, it's important then to keep the other person informed at least. There, if you just ghost, it might seem like too intense or too harsh. You get me? Like suppose if we would have had a conversation, the conversation was about XYZ topic, and we had a falling out, or we had a bit of a fight, or and you needed to take your time and process. And if nobody had met, like you wouldn't have told me that I need my time to process this, I would have gone about my week thinking Ananya is that pissed that we're not going to be able to mend this. And then when you come back to me and you come back with a lighter intensity and be like, okay, you know what, this was the case and I was just going through it, I would have been like, yeah, but at the time that I needed clarity, I didn't get any. Make sense? So to me, when it's a conversation with two people and the processing or the mental health is required there, some kind of clarity and some kind of openness is important that I need time to process. If you're just feeling low and you ghost people, that's okay. At least as per me.
Yeah.
I am pro ghosting too, don't worry, we're good.
But I have another question for you, and goes back to like way longer what we spoke about. We spoke about that mental health is such a subjective topic, right? And I know that this year you had gone for therapy, etc. Therapy, right? Yeah. So, I don't know, and I don't know if you would have the answer to this question, but if it is such a subjective thing, how do you know your therapist will understand you? Or is there a rule book? Like, how do they come to the point where they are certified therapists? And why would I go and open up to a random stranger and she just give and I'm paying her money for her time? I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay, so you're
Do I make
saying how
sense?
do you. Okay, I'm going to try and put a gist of it and then you can tell me if I've understood it correctly.
Hmm.
You're asking, A, how do you know if the therapist that you've been assigned to is the right therapist for you?
Yeah.
Correct? And B, why would you open up to a therapist and pay them that money?
Yeah, and also mental health is so subjective. So what
Yeah.
works out for you may not work out for B. What works out for A would not work out for B. So
Correct.
how is her as a person, or how does she guide you, or what is that whole process like? I don't know if
Okay.
it's something that should be closed off or it's something that we can discuss because I have never
No,
gone
we
for it.
can. Of course we
But
can.
as I'm very curious, I want to ask, how does it go?
No, no,
Go
this
ahead.
is this is a very open and honest conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
I will try answering this to the best of my understanding because I am not a
Okay.
therapist. So
Mm.
I'm sure we can ask other therapists, or if you are a therapist, please comment below if you have any other points to give into this. But A, how do you know that the therapist is the right fit for you? Okay, so I went through an online portal, right? So what my process was that I was asked to fill certain things that I did need help with at the moment, immediate help, and then like sub subconsequently the things that I would need help with. And I had to fill up a form, and I did that. So at that moment, I needed help with anxiety, and ADHD was getting too bad, so I needed help with that. But firstly, anxiety and uh, putting out boundaries, setting up boundaries, which was extremely important to me. Right? So, those were the conversations I was having with my therapist. So, you have to firstly fill out things that are important to you, and there are therapists who are specialized in those things, right? So suppose if someone's gone through major trauma and they have PTSD, there's different therapists who have specialized in PTSD. So they might be more like aligned with you, and that is why they might be assigned to you. Um, so this is a like basically process that they do, which is an elimination process. Like they keep eliminating therapists as a bit like as per your requirements, and then their availability and your availability. Obviously, it is a trial and error method, right? You don't always find the best therapist on the first go. You don't always find the most suitable therapist. And it's a process that, to me, I had realized that if I'm committing to the process, I'm going to commit for at least 3 months before I make a decision and I move out, right? I'm going to give that therapist the time of 3 months. Yes, it's going to be expensive because therapy is not cheap. Yes, it's going to be time consuming. It's going to be draining because a lot of emotions are involved and at stake over here. So it's going to be a lot of all of that. But that was something that I had to mentally prepare myself for before I even went to therapy or before I even thought of therapy. But I think, to me, the standard rule book is give yourself 3 months with that person, see if that person understands you, because again, you are also a new patient to them. They're going to try and understand what works for you best, what works, what doesn't work for you, right? For me, suppose logical based understanding works best, even for emotions, even for situations. So my therapist would give me a lot of logical based explanations for why. Suppose if I was like, why is boundary setting so important? And she will just be like, no, boundary setting is important because you as a person have your own right and have your own this, have your own that. I wouldn't understand necessarily because I know of all of this, but still I've not been able to implement it. But if she gives me a very logical understanding of the situation, I understand that much better and that sticks with me, right? So you have to find therapists that understand, that are specialized in what you need first, and then find therapists who are willing to understand you and you're willing to communicate with them. Now, why do you open up to a random person when you're not being able to open up to anybody else? Again, conversational therapy is not for everybody, right? It's not, because if you are not going to open up there, if you're just going to sit for an hour or 45 minutes or however long the session is and just sit and be surface level about things, it's not going to help anybody. There are different kinds of therapies for people, right? There's art therapy, there's AA groups where people meet and talk about a lot of things. Like AA groups is for alcohol, a lot of like anonymous groups where people discuss whatever they're going through, and that helps. There's obviously conversational one-on-one therapy. There's many different kinds of and there's movement therapy also, right? So it could be that you don't go and directly speak to a therapist. You could just go to a movement class and try doing something that releases your emotions internally and helps you figure. But that, if you are deciding to go for conversational therapy, you have to kind of make up the mind that this is a random person who is here to help me out. I have to open up to them by hook or by crook. It takes time, but it is a decision that you have to take, because if you're paying that much, if you're spending that much time, if you're spending that much energy, better make the most of it. If you're then going to be quiet and sit there and be like, no, why should I speak to this person? I'm not going to help anybody. So that.
No, honestly, I knew there were like groups for like alcoholism, shopaholics. There are
Yeah.
different groups. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it called?
AA
Uh,
groups, I think.
I didn't know there was something called like I didn't know AA groups is a thing.
Mm.
It's support groups or something
Support
it's called.
groups,
I
yes.
don't.
Support groups,
Yeah, so
correct.
I
Sorry.
never knew, and when I like from my head, if someone is going through a mental health problem, like not problem, sorry guys, mental health
Episode.
episode, that's better. Um, in my head is either for me, I found out dance helps, right? Or else the second one, which I would like to try maybe in the future, is therapy, right? So these are the only, yes, these are only two things that come into my head. And the fact that when you were speaking about this, like so many new doors opened my head, I felt like whoosh, Albert Einstein vibes. But other than that, I want to ask you a question, right? You told when you were selecting your therapist, you were going through like elimination process, but firstly, you people like you are very aware about their emotions, so you knew what you wanted to discuss, right? But like I also feel a lot of things in your childhood, in your past, trigger your behavior currently. So if I just so is there like a specialized therapists for this, or is it like I don't know what my problem is. Do I make sense? Like if
Yeah,
I'm randomly talking, I may figure out, oh, this is actually the root cause of this problem.
yeah,
But I never knew this problem actually existed.
yeah.
So
That
like,
makes sense. See,
hmm,
again, I'm sure that there are. You see, you don't have to necessarily have a problem to go to a therapist, right? You can just go if you want to even better yourself, because everybody has flaws. Therapy makes you see your own flaws as well. So, if you just want to better yourself, also, you could be a patient of therapy. And you could maybe not. So, the thing is, doctors prefer someone who doesn't know, because when someone and this is something that my therapist did tell me at the time, is that when someone is hyper aware of the situation, then a lot of the times conversational therapy doesn't help with them, because you're already aware of what is going on with you, right? You're already aware of what is going on, why it is happening, why it is not, but yet you're not able to take a change. Conversation isn't going to help with that.
so unlearning is difficult.
No, unlearning, not necessarily unlearning, but it's just that when you're hyper aware, you're going to, like, this is already done. Conversational therapy makes you aware, right? It's the first step to awareness of your own body. Like, if you were, suppose, for example, you were to go to therapy and take a session, the first few sessions you would not understand anything about yourself, right? You'd be answering the therapist's questions, and they have questions prompted to make you think about the question, the situation that they're talking about, and how you would react. And what your reaction is can tell you a lot, can tell them, especially at first, a lot more about how you are as a person and how you emotionally behave, right? After a couple of sessions, you start noticing that within yourself. It starts becoming a pattern recognition, that you start noticing that, oh yes, when I'm sad I do this, and when I'm sad I do this, right? It's a gradual process, it's a course over the time of, the whole process of therapy. But when you're hyper aware, you're already aware of all of this. You've done the work that you're supposed to be doing. So, what other things can you do to bring on change? It is something that you have to actively work on every single second. So, for me, my therapist had to actually give me workbooks that made me extremely uncomfortable at first, because the situations in there were like, write a very harsh email to somebody setting your boundaries, because they have not been respecting your boundaries for a while, and that doesn't come to me. Even though I know that, okay, boundaries need to be set and I am important and this and that, to write an email that was harsh because my boundaries were not respected for the fourth or the fifth time, that was not very easy. That was extremely uncomfortable, extremely unsettling. And that's what teaches you to grow. So they actually prefer somebody who has no clue, because then you can figure out a lot more about yourself over the course of time.
Makes sense. But before we go into dive in deep, which is our
Mm-hmm.
next segment, I want to ask you one last question, because I'm learning a lot from this conversation. Like a lot of things which I do is self mechanism, or like it just happens by itself. But through this call, because you have gone through the whole journey, which maybe in the future I would go through. I want to ask two questions. First one is, if a person cannot afford therapy, as for me, I figured out dance helps me out, maybe journaling it out or writing randomly all my emotions helps me out. But what are the other ways that you, maybe speaking to a therapist, would have figured out, or like she would have brought it up to you? And B, in social media we're seeing so much of like everyone faking it till they're making it, right? So how is that like, and it's become such a desensitized topic. It's been normalized, yes, but a lot of people are just, I don't know, would people, like, I feel a lot of people may be using it as excuses,
Throwing it to casually.
throwing in, exactly, throwing into a casually. How is that, like, how is that blurriness or that line
So,
understood?
first question, to answer your first question, which is, how do we figure what helps? This is not something I spoke to my therapist about, but this is just something from experience that I think might help. Again, we are both not professionals. Please speak to some professional if you really need any help. This is just a conversation based on experience and based on our emotions and what works for us and what we've seen that works for other people. I think what I've seen that works for other people to just feel better or have a dopamine hit in that sense, basically, is to go out of your comfort zone. That helps tremendously, because when you go out of your comfort zone, you're actually, so basically, when you're not even having a dopamine hit, your brain's kind of sitting idle for a bit, right? It's like, I don't know what to do, because what hormone do I release, what triggers do I press, I don't know. When you go out of your comfort zone, you kind of enable your brain to think. You have to force your brain to think, like, now come on, buck up. Suppose for me that is putting myself in situations where I have to interact with a lot of people. I'm very socially anxious, so I don't like it doing that. And then when I have to interact with people, I'm like, oh, my brain kind of has to activate on its own. Firstly, that. And then when the task is done, or whatever the thing that you are stepping out of your comfort zone is done, you feel so much better, right? You learn so much, you feel so much better, and somewhere your body is just like, oh my god, I just did that. It could be dancing, it could be trying out something new, it could be just going for a walk, it could be like, if you don't go for a walk every day and you're having a bad mental health day, maybe just try going out for a walk. Just try, like, going out dancing or going out somewhere or reading a book. Like, just do anything that you're not typically doing. Do something out of routine and out of character, and that helps sometimes. It's not a very long term method. This is a very, like, कि थोड़े टाइम के लिए, if you want to feel nicer. Long term, of course, setting something as a routine always helps, because it gives your brain something to do. It gives your brain responsibility, and our brain loves responsibility. So it gives your brain, like, okay, tomorrow I have to wake up, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's great. Like, you know how you feel so happy at the end of a productive, tired day, right? Nobody comes back home and after a very productive, tired day, and he's like, "Ugh, I had a productive day." You always are like, oh my god, I had a productive day, it was good, I'm tired, my body is physically exhausted, but I was happy. So give your brain something to do, and I think that will be great. This is from experience. And B, how does the blurriness. So the thing is, social media can also be a reason for a lot of mental health episodes, right? Because you see a lot of comparison online. So you could compare yourself. A. B, you can see a lot of shaming happening. Your insecurities being triggered at all points in time. So that could trigger an episode. And again, the whole scrolling through it, we've been so addicted to social media that your dopamine generation of your brain is now relying on that scroll. Like, the number of likes you get, the number of comments you get, the number of this you get, the number of followers you have. And that is extremely unhealthy for us as a generation, which we sort of do need to realize, because it's very good to normalize mental health, right? It's very good because it's part of any kind of health. Your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, all of them are very good to be normalized, to be spoken about. The fact that I can sit here and tell you that, oh Ananya, I've had a rough week, it's fine. But it's even more important to realize that we are humans who can have rough weeks. It's fine. Our sadness is a part of normal human emotion. If it continues for too long, or if it leads you to take dangerous steps, then of course it is harmful and it needs to be a concern. But if you're having one rough week in a year, it's okay. We're human. Sadness is a part of the human emotion that we naturally feel. It's fine. It has gotten too spoken about, where everybody's just like, oh, I'm anxious, and oh, I'm depressed, and oh, I'm this, and oh, I'm that. Yeah, but that's also a normal human emotion, and B, I don't think a lot of people understand what actual anxiety means, because there's a difference between general anxiety disorder and feeling anxious. You realize feeling anxious is an emotion, it's a feeling. You could feel anxious in a moment, and it's your brain it's a good thing from your brain as well. I I forgot the movie's name, but the movie about the Inside Out, the movie about all of the emotions. The part two had a character called Anxiety. And I remember they were depicting a person having an actual anxiety attack, and the brain kept telling anxiety to stop, to stop, to stop. And anxiety just said, I was just trying to protect him. Your anxiety is also just developed to protect you. It's okay if you're feeling anxious. It's about something that your brain is trying to protect you from. General anxiety disorder is a different thing. So if you are constantly anxious at all points, of course, please reach out to a doctor, figure something out, and figure out what works best for you in calming that situation down. But it's okay to feel anxious, or it's okay to feel low, or it's okay to feel overwhelmed or frustrated or angry. It's fine. Yeah. But I have one question for you, because this is not something that I can relate to, and you are in that situation. So I wanted to understand, how real is seasonal depression? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I know that it's because also you can't step out as much, you don't receive as much sun and all of that. But have you like noticed a stark difference, or is it like, or do you think that you were feeling low just because of other reasons and not just seasonal depression?
Okay, so I can answer this by last year at this
Mm-hmm.
time. Obviously, winter is setting in UK. It's going to like 2 degrees at night, so it snowed one day, but I couldn't see the snow. It happened at 5 o'clock in the morning, so you could see on the windshield, you could see like the snow,
Mm-hmm.
but actually on the floor you couldn't see the snow because by that time the sun came out and
It
everything went.
melted, yeah.
Yeah, but so coming back last year, this time I had my set of friends, right?
Hmm.
I was going to university, I was being productive, everything was going according to plan. I had my submissions of my assignments in December.
Hmm.
Um, and in December, what happened is a lot of people went back home, so I couldn't meet my friends at that time. But
Yeah.
if you see, I was in a relatively very good mental health situation then. And and I love winters. I'm a winter baby. I was born in Jan. But the and I expected that the winters would like I'd be like, wow, snow, eat the snow, take pictures in the snow. But no, it hits you. Like imagine at like 3 o'clock, 3:30, it's getting dark.
Hmm.
And like if you had to go out to wear like so many layers, and over that you had to wear like boots or something. I've fallen 180 degrees on the snow. So honestly, there's so many things to look out for. There is no sunlight, so you're like 24/7. You feel like you're like Halloween movie is going to say for horror movie. Like it's so dark, and by like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, everything closes down here. So it's more quieter also. And obviously, winters is a time for Christmas, Thanksgiving. So a lot of people have gone back to their home countries, to their home places. So all in all, the cities are very dull, and
Oh,
yeah.
fair. So then I think seasonal depression could be like hitting you more when you are slightly lonelier also.
Oh, this time it's way more, I feel. Especially so I don't know if it is seasonal depression this time or the fact that I've been in one room for the past 3 months. Right? And now it being this cold outside, I have to think like 3 times before going for a grocery run. I'm like, really? But at the same time, the fact that my father is coming to meet me in like a week's time, I'm so excited for that. I'm like, finally, family
Yay!
member, finally, I'm the human being that I love, I'm going to meet. And then I'm going to meet my other friends. So it's not as bad, but
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know seasonal depression has hit as bad this time compared to last year this time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I was thinking, Kushi, because we spent
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much time asking each other questions. I don't know if diving deep should be a part of this episode because we've
Yeah,
asked so.
this was a very deep conversation,
Mm-hmm.
as is.
Yeah.
Um, I think what we can do is we can ask them this time around.
Mm.
The dive in deep could be for you guys,
Yeah.
that what is, the one thing you do to just take care of your mental health.
Yeah. We can learn a
Yeah.
lot. We can learn a lot from them also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we'll take all of your suggestions and be like, please implement in our life also
And
to
we
see
put on
if it works for
Instagram
us.
shots. Okay, and Ananya is trying like Pilates, or Ananya is doing like
Oh,
acrobatics just to like
Pilates are being tried.
for that paisa needs to come in. But yeah, we can try it out on Call Kar Yaaar. But other than that, should we go to our other favorite segment?
Yes, my hands are folded.
Okay, you first manifest.
Oh, I'm manifesting first. Okay, ladies first this time. Um, I manifest to have fun, to have a balanced life. I think so, my journal is working for me because the topic for this week's journal was self awareness, and it really has opened up a lot of my portals for me. So I'm going to manifest a lot more self awareness, but in a more balanced way, please. And I think as we're approaching the new year, 2026, December is always a time for reflection for me. So I hope for some very insightful reflections. I manifest. What's your
Um, I manifest that 2026 is a beautiful year. Compared to 2025, which had so many ups and so many downs. But other than that, I feel like I want to go into 2026 more intentionally. Um, I may not have all my things in my life planned out, but going in more intentionally and maybe leaving everything to God, but doing the best I can would just help me um, figure out my life. So going in more intentionally, hoping the next year is amazing for everyone else, and most importantly, hoping the next few weeks are beautiful for myself. Not hoping, manifesting.
Yes,
Yes.
Slay Queen.
But yes, what's up, universe?
Hello, brother, firstly.
Hello, universe. Sorry. Hello, universe. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
We love you and we love you
We love
guys.
you. See you next
Bye bye.
Friday.
See you.